Hi guys, and welcome to the 10th edition of Talking Travel with me, Andrew. This is a weekly chat that goes live every Monday, and we look at some of the travel issues around South Africa and Southern Africa, and we deal with all of your questions and queries that you might have on traveling in the region. As always, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/wildeyesa or on Twitter at wildeyesa. Also, every Monday, my partner Gerry Vanderwalt does the photo chat. So if you're into photography, each week he looks at some photographic tips and guidelines, and then also deals with post-processing, a lot of Lightroom tutorials and that sort of thing. So be sure to check out the photo chat with Gerry each week. This week in industry news, we're going to start it off on a very sad note. Madikwe Game Reserve has lost their third rhino to poaching this year. Rhino poaching is a massive problem in South Africa at the moment, and if you're not already aware of it, just do a couple of searches on the internet and you'll find out just how bad the problem is. This is the third rhino to have been poached in Madikwe, but in total in South Africa now the numbers are probably reaching the 400 mark, which is getting over a rhino a day, which is terrible. Yeah, so really not good news for rhino populations in South Africa at all. On a more positive note, a white lion cub has been spotted in Motswari this week. Chad Cocking was one of the first guys to see this amazing sighting. It's a 2-month-old cub, and it's the first time it's been seen in this area. It hasn't been since it was first sighted last week, but it's still believed to be in that area with its mother and the rest of the pride. Now, this particular sighting that Chad had was fantastic, but typical Motswari fashion, the other 2 white lions in the region were also spotted on their property, in their concession, that same afternoon. So they were really spoiled at that time. Motswari seems to be pumping at the moment with fantastic leopard sightings and great lion sightings. I know they've even had a female leopard wandering around in camp over the last couple of days, so that's fantastic. We can't wait to get up there next month. Last week on the chat, we started to look at well, I mentioned the poll for this week was going to focus on adventure activities, so stepping out on the wild side a little bit. And the poll that we did on Facebook was quite interesting. We asked out of all the activities that we listed, what were the most exciting ones, or which ones excited you the most? And paragliding, microlighting, and funny enough, cycling in a Big 5 reserve proved to be the most popular activities. So this week we're going to look at some of those activities in a little bit more detail and find out where you can go to get your fix in South Africa. So we're going to start off with paragliding, and after a little bit of research on the net, I reckon that one of the best places to go paragliding in South Africa has to be around Cape Town. There's a company called Cape Town Tandem Paragliding, and most of their trips depart from Lion's Head in Cape Town, so it gives you fantastic views of Table Mountain and 12 Apostles and the actual bowl of the city centre itself. But they also fly off Signal Hill, Solari's Pass, and in Franschhoek and Hermanus, so no shortage of visually appealing destinations there. They have highly skilled instructors and pilots, so you actually go with someone on these trips, and you don't need any experience. The pilots give you a full brief before your trip, and just a couple of steps, and then you're in the air. Typically, the flights last anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, depending on the thermals and where you're actually departing from. And a tandem flight costs about 950 bucks, or a cross-country adventure, which is a little bit longer, for 1,500 Rand. They also do give you the option of documenting this whole experience by giving you a DVD and photos of your actual paragliding session with them. So I know next time I'm in Cape Town, I'm definitely going to do it. So hopefully I'll grab the GoPro, and when we're down there, be able to put together some video clips for you guys so you can actually see what the experience is like. It's certainly something that I would like to do. Then microlighting. One of the best places, or most adventurous places to do this in South Africa, is along the Durban coast. There's a company called Sky Adventures, which are based in Durban, and they do scenic coastal flights along the Ballito Strip and along the Durban coast there. Must be a fantastic view all the way across the city, all the way down into the sugarcane fields, which lie a little bit further inland. They also do scenic coastal flights and stopovers, so you can have a picnic lunch and then continue on your way back. It's a great way to spend an afternoon if you're in and around the Durban region. That's with Ballito Sky Adventures. Then one of the other most popular choices this week on that poll was mountain biking in a Big 5 game reserve. Now, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time, and I think I've finally got the kick in the butt to actually get out there and try and do it. So there are a couple of places that you can do this. One of the most popular reserves for it to take place in is in Mashatu, which is in Botswana, but a very easily accessible destination for most South Africans, especially if you're in Johannesburg and Polokwane. A couple of hours drive from Joburg to the Pontdrift border post, and then you take a cable car crossing onto the Botswana side. Mashatu main camp and tented camp offer cycling in the reserve as an additional activity whilst you're at the camps, but there's also a company called Mashatu Cycle Tours, and they run a range of 3-night all the way up to 7-night adventure packages, some of them taking place in Mashatu itself, which is the 3-night tour, or even in Kruger in the Pafuri region, which is fantastic. So all the details of this we'll be adding these packages to our site. So if you feel like you need a little bit of venture and want to step out on the wild side, keep an eye on the website for all the details that we'll be putting up there. Yeah. That's it for this week. We're very excited about a presentation that Wild Eye is hosting tomorrow night at the Royal Johannesburg and Kensington Golf Club. We've got Jay Collier from Canon Professional Services in Australia, who's going to be presenting wildlife photography from a Canon perspective. So if you see this in time and you're in the area, please feel free to come and join us. Drop us an email. Bookings are essential. And we'll add you to the list and we'll catch up tomorrow. See you guys next week. Cheers.